Hello, and how are you? Welcome to our session, which is gonna cover on the Kenya Sexual Offense Punishment. My name is Winnie Barawa. If you're new here, this is a channel that covers or rather discusses lessons, lectures, and expert interviews pertaining to healthcare. And if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe and also watch our videos also all the way to the end. So we are dissecting on gender and the different gender-based violence that happen, or the different types of GBVs. And now in this particular level, we're looking into the Kenya Sexual Offences Act and the different punishments that it provides. In the previous, we had just stated the different acts that are covered in the act and the different offenses, that are covered in the act, and we have discussed in details, focusing more on rape, assaulted rape, cultural practices, and we also checked on defilement. Now, in this video, we are going to dissect each and every punishment that is given as per the offense that the person has covered. So in this video, we are going to list the offense that the person has committed and the punishment that they will get. All right, so the Constitution of Kenya provides different punishments for different offenses that have been committed. So this summarizes these offenses and their different sentences of imprisonment. So I will start with the rape. So with the rape, the perpetrator is given an imprisonment punishment of minimum of 10 years, which can still be enhanced to life imprisonment. For attempted rape, the perpetrator is given a minimum of 5 years, which can also be enhanced into life. Now, enhancement means if the case is so severe and involves other further charges, then this person can be given life imprisonment. Then we have sexual assault, whereby the person is given a minimum of 10 years and it can also be enhanced to life. And in cases of compelled or induced indecent acts, this perpetrator can be given a punishment of minimum of 5 years. And again, we got cases whereby these acts which cause penetration or indecent acts committed within the view of a family member, a child, or person with mental disability, then the perpetrator is punished with an imprisonment of minimum of 10 years or above or more. Then moving forward, we have cases of defilement. Just like in the previous class, in the defilement, we said this is punished based on the ages that the person has engaged with. So if the perpetrator has engaged a child aged 10 years and less, they are punished for life, that is life imprisonment. If the child is aged 12 to 15 years, the imprisonment is minimum of 20 years. And if the child is aged 16 to 18 years, then we get minimum imprisonment of 15 years. Then in cases of attempted defilement, usually the punishment is a minimum of 10 years. And then in cases of gang rape and gang defilement, then there's minimum 15 years, which can be enhanced to life imprisonment. Indecent acts with a child, this person can be punished for imprisonment years of minimum of 10 years. And then indecent acts with an adult, so most of the time the fine here is a maximum of 5 years, or they can be fined not exceeding 50,000 or both. So 50,000 shilling, that's like $500. Then we have promotion of sexual offenses with a child. So in promotion of sexual offenses with a child, we have imprisonment status of 5 years, where the accused is accompanied a fine not less than 500,000 Kenyan shilling. This is estimatedly at around $5,000 on the minimum. So with the punishment with these various offenses, you realize that actually the minimum is 5 years for majority of them. So the punishment for most of them gives a minimum of 5 years, as we can see from most of them here. Then moving forward, in cases of child sex tourism, the minimum punishment is a minimum of 10 years, where the accused is juristic person fine of not less than 2 million. Then there's child prostitution. where the imprisonment sentence is minimum of 10 years. And in performance of child pornography, where it is a first conviction, then this person is given a minimum of 6 years and to a fine of not less than 500,000 or both. For subsequent conviction, then there's minimum years of 7 years imprisonment and there's no option of a fine. So in this case, you're told with sexual communication with a child, that is cases where you are engaging a child with sexual information or communication, then you have minimum of 500,000 or a fine of 500,000 or both. So here I want to believe minimum of 5 years of imprisonment, not really 5 years of 5,000. This was a typo. Then we've got exploitation of prostitution. So in the prostitution aspect, there's minimum of 5 years or the person can be given a fine of 500,000 Kenya shilling. I hope with this you can equate this to like $5,000, and then or the person can get both, that is both fines, minimum years of 5 years imprisonment plus a fine of 500,000. And moving on, we have cases of prostitution for a person with mental disability. So in this case, there's minimum years of 10 years of imprisonment. And then in cases where you're practicing benefiting from the prostitution of persons with mental disability, again, this person is given imprisonment minimum of 10 years. Now, in cases of promoting sex tourism with persons who have disability, the punishment is usually a minimum of 10 years or be given a fine of not less than 2 million. Now, 2 million, that's like $20,000. So where the accused is a juristic person, like this is a person who has been given the mandate by the government to protect these persons with disability. So where the accused is juristic, then the person fined will not be not less than 2 million. So they'll be given a heavier fine. Then practicing incest by either male and female persons. Here there is usually minimum 10 years of imprisonment. However, if the victim is under 18 years, then there is mandatory life sentence. Then in attempted incest, there's provision of minimum of 10 years of imprisonment. And in sexual harassment acts, you're provided for with minimum years of 3 years of imprisonment and a fine not less than 100,000 Kenyan shilling or both. Right, keeping on. So like I said, the Constitution provides in detail like all these offenses and then it states different punishments. So in this offense or sexual offense relating to a person who has a position of authority, could be a superintendent, manager in a jail, or a manager somewhere in a parastatals, mostly the sentence for them is a minimum of 10 years. However, in cases where there's abuse of position of authority, let's say by law enforcement officers, there's also provision of minimum of 10 years. Abuse of position of power, like people in management of a hospital or staff of a facility, there's also minimum of 10 years of imprisonment. And then the other bit is abuse of position by authority by people who operate facilities like in head teachers, employees in primary or secondary school or special institutions of learning. Then there's also provision of punishment for a minimum of 10 years. So you can see like majority of this punishment is 5 years, 10 years going forward to life imprisonment. Then for other people, there's some, like for harassment, there's 3 years imprisonment as you can see them. And just to finalize on it, we have abuse of position of trust. The punishment is 10 years minimum. And then on the case of deliberate transmission of HIV or any other life-threatening sexual transmitted disorders, then we have minimum 15 years, which can also be enhanced to life imprisonment. Where there's administering a substance or drug with intent of sexual violence, the punishment is minimum of 10 years. Where there is distribution of a substance by company, the fine is not less than 5 million, or there's an imprisonment of directors for a minimum of 5 years or both. However, in cases of forcing a person to engage in sexual activities for cultural or religious reasons, then you have minimum of 10 years of imprisonment. And in cases of non-disclosure of the convictions of sexual offenses, Like this is a person who is aware someone is committing sexual offenses and they are not disclosing, then this person is liable to imprisonment for a minimum of 3 years or can be given a fine of 50,000 or both. So these are the various offenses in the Kenya Offence Act and their various punishments. So here we have the different references. I really like referring to the Constitution of Kenya, like it's very elaborate, but also you can read on the Sexual Offence Act Section 62A, which was revised in 2012 and it was quoted in 2006. So again, thank you for staying with me all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, share this content with your platform, leave a comment, and also you can like this video. So thank you and see you in our next lesson.